It's a massive episode here for the Baylor Dynasty. We will be covering the final games of the season for our Bears as they try to finish strong. But most importantly, the second half of this episode will be the off-season and everything that happens. There's a lot that goes down with this team in the off-season, but we have 3 more games left, and we'll try to quickly get through these as we take on Kansas State here in our first of our 3. Baylor was able to pick up their first 2 wins in the last episode, but can they finish the second half of the season strong? They started 0-5, now sit here at 2-7. They start with the ball against Kansas State, who's also not done too good this season, throwing, and that's going to be a big play to start the game. Very early on, we have a big one down the field to the 14-yard line, first down and 10. Handoff to Dominic Richardson, cuts it inside, breaking a tackle. He's got it to goal to go, and on third down and goal, handing it to Richardson, and Baylor takes an early lead, and we start fast here. Just a handful of plays, and Baylor's already on the board. Now we go to Avery Johnson, the Kansas State offense, as they start with a throw, and it's going to be caught by Dante Cephas, and it's going to be out of bounds past midfield, first down and 10 now. Play action, Johnson rolling out right. He's throwing on the run. That's going to be intercepted. It's Devin Bobby with the takeaway, and the safety, Devin Bobby's got it to the 45-yard line, but Baylor, touchdown drive to start, and a quick turnover on defense. Things are starting off better than they have all year, and that's going to be a great play on the outside. Hal Presley making a big catch, and now it's second down and 1. Play action, Finn is rolling left. He is going to throw on the run. That's going to be Michael Trigg, and the productive tight end Michael Trigg gets it to the 30, and now we jump ahead to third down and 4. Finn will roll right. He's got space to run it, and he will. He doesn't get the block from Jackson, but he has a first down, and now on second down and 4, 11-yard line handoff. Richardson's got the first down, and he's powering ahead, and Dominic Richardson's got the touchdown. And for once, they are starting off strong, and they are starting off far better than the opponents as Johnson, play action, will throw to the tight end, and he's got to almost break the tackle, but Braden Lofton goes down, and that's going to be their biggest play so far. Now dropping to throw, and it's going to be a sack on third down, and Baylor takes it back as that one big play couldn't net them any points, as now Baylor's offense taking the field, and Ketron Jackson underneath showing his speed, and Jackson up the sidelines to the 45-yard line. Things quickly turn to third down and long. Finn will throw it, and he's got an open man. That's going to be Michael Trigg with the catch, and Trigg has been super reliable in the second half of the season. The more we have gotten him involved, the better our offense has been, as Finn will tuck and run. He's got a block and a first down, but he fumbles the football, but we quickly jump on it. Baylor has run quite a bit of clock off, and it's going to be third down, handing off to Richardson. He cannot quite get in for his third, but Baylor trying to get a 21-0 lead. They're going to go at Finn on the draw, and he's not going to get in, and unfortunately the half will come to an end, but it's still a 14-0 lead. Baylor gets the football to start the second half, and here we are on second down and 12. Finn is going to run it, and he just gets to the first down marker. Did a good job there creating something and getting it to the marker. Third down now, we jump ahead, play action, and Finn, he's got a bail. He's going to go left. He's going to run it, and he's got the first down again, and he hangs onto the football. We need to get him to slide down a little bit. He's already fumbled once, as Finn will drop to throw. This time he actually uses his arm, and he has it for a first down. Ketron Jackson. And now Baylor threatening to potentially take that 3-score lead. And on third down, this time the pressure gets in. The field goal unit comes out for that 17-0 lead, and the kick is good. So Baylor has a 17-point lead. They had one of these earlier in the year against Boise State and blew it and ended up losing the whole game. Let's see if they've grown a little bit since that game earlier on and can actually seal the deal here in the second half, as it's going to be Johnson throwing outside. That's going to be short and caught, and he's going to run up ahead. Cephas has the first down, and now jump into third down and 11 in enemy territory. Johnson is going to throw over the middle. That's going to be caught for a first down. We have not seen much of Kansas State's run game, as it just hasn't been all that productive, and they haven't really gone to it much. It's been all through the air, and if you can't run with the running backs, how about getting them the ball in the passing game? Dylan Edwards for the first down, and now Avery Johnson's going to get swarmed and sacked, and that's going to, unfortunately for Kansas State, set up a field goal try. The kick is good, but man, they really could have used a touchdown on that one to just get something going their way. At least they got some points on the board, but Baylor maintains a 14-point lead lead here as we are in the fourth quarter now, and they throw one out there. There's going to be Keytron Jackson juking ahead and getting to about midfield. Just 8 minutes separating them from their third win of the season. They throw a screen, but that's going to be jumped in and intercepted. The screen was red, and Kansas State is going to take it all the way for a touchdown. And Kansas State is right back in the game. Defender just made a great play. That's not even that much on Finn, but here we are. Blitz sent in, and Richardson's got the catch, and he's got a big gain. Finn got to shake that interception off and see what he can do here as he drops the throw once more. He's going to go over the middle, and that's going to be intercepted. This one's all his fault, and Kansas State now is all of a sudden in a one-score game, and with the football in good field position, jumping ahead, 3rd down and 3. They need this one going to the ground game, and Gibbons fumbles the football, and they have to jump on it. It knocks them out of field goal range, and they didn't go for it. They decided to punt as Finn will throw on the run. That's going to be one of his better throws of the day, and that's going to be caught. Now we got 3rd down and a big one here as Finn moves left. He's got a defender in his face. He goes all the way back, now trails back right, and Finn, he's got an open field and an open lane. He's got the 1st down and a lot more, and Finn using that great athleticism that he possesses to turn that into a spectacular play, and an open man here is going to be having it at the 1-yard line. He almost got in, but that's going to be a timeout used, and with little time to play for the 2-score lead and to seal the deal, that's going to be Dominic Richardson with another touchdown, and Baylor does what they need to do to get on top and stay there, as it was a little scary at one point with that pick 6, but the defense did a phenomenal job in this game. One of their most complete games of the season. They started great with an interception, didn't allow a single touchdown, as the only touchdown was given up by our offense. So it was a spectacular game from the defense, and our secondary has really become the big strength of this team, but also the run defense did pretty good. Richardson had a great day, finishing off 3 touchdowns, and it was just a big game from our entire team to get their 3rd win of the year. And obviously a bowl game is not within our grasp at this point, but I mean, finishing strong would be nice. If we can come out here and have, you know, a winning record in the second half of the season, that'd be awesome. But as we move ahead, we are kind of at the point in recruiting where it's the very end of the season, so the only things really left to do are just kind of sit and wait, schedule a couple of visits, and see what happens. And if we win some battles before the season ends, great. If not, we take things to the offseason. But even if we don't get anyone left for the rest of the regular season, we're pretty happy with what we've been able to accomplish when it comes to our commits. As we go ahead, advance the week, we get 1 commit this week, and that's going to be linebacker Nate Geisinger. And that's going to be a pretty nice pickup. When it comes to these other players, though, JT McClellan, one of our biggest prospects, he goes to LSU. Unfortunate, but at the same time, not too surprising to see. Whatever players do decide to commit in these final few weeks, if any others do, we're going to just kind of push that all to the offseason where, you know, we're going to look at these players, break them down, or whatever the case may be, who's going to be impact players or not. We're going to just save all that for the offseason and just make the offseason as big and as crammed and as fun as it can be. And right now, we're just going to try to wrap up these final 2 games of the season where we take on West Virginia in our second to last one, our final home game of the season. So that means it's senior day for a lot of our players, as we have so many graduating starters for this team, as West Virginia's already started off strong. Garrett Green, one of the better quarterbacks in the conference, as he drops for play action. And the throw over the middle for Hudson Clement is going to be caught, broken tackle, and at the 11-yard line. Now jumping ahead, 3rd down, 2 straight incompletions, as Garrett Green will have nowhere to go with the football, and he tried to run back, create some time. Nowhere to go, though, and it's going to be incomplete. Field goal unit onto the field, as West Virginia will blow the short field goal, and Baylor will take over. So Baylor going to have the football in a 0-0 game. The defense, I guess, did just enough, as it's going to be Finn on the read option. He's got a lot of room, and Finn breaking a tackle. There goes Finn, juking back to the inside, and he gets lit up, and the football on the ground, and that's going to be West Virginia. Finn just did way too much on that one. He got a little greedy there, and now it's it's going to be C.J. Donaldson with a stiff arm and a first down carry. And that's going to be a brutal stiff arm. Third down now, handing it off to Donaldson. He's not going to get it, and it's going to be fourth down. Now trying it from the right hash. Have they got it this time? Yes, they do. And the kick is going to be just good. And West Virginia has a 3-0 lead because of that fumble. And now Finn has to try to recover from that. He usually turns the football over through the air, but on the ground can't be doing that either, as he will run up ahead for a first down. We've seen him use his legs a lot more in the second half of this season. It's helped in some instances, but it's just still not been a complete product as a quarterback. He just hasn't really grown that much over the course of this year, and he has proved that the jump to the Big 12 just was too big for him. And this is going to be his second to last game as our quarterback, so we don't have to deal with it for too much longer. The 25-yard line, as West Virginia has been moving it well. Things definitely aren't going as good as they were in that Kansas State game, as West Virginia has a big play over the middle now at the 5-yard line, second down and goal. Throwing, that's going to be a touchdown, and Garrett Green in this West Virginia offense is moving it well. That's going to be Jaden Bray with the touchdown, and it's going to be 10-0, and Baylor down quickly as it's going to be 5 minutes to go in the second quarter. Throwing deep down the field, that's going to be into coverage and intercepted. West Virginia taking the football back, and a nice return here inside the 40-yard line. This is more the start of games that we are used to from Baylor, as it's going to be good field position. Donaldson with a good play on the draw. Great blocking setup, and the defense might have used all their energy and all their abilities in that last game, because this is looking nothing like that Kansas State game. West Virginia now, third down and 1. Throwing, caught short of the goal line. It's going to be first down and goal, though, under 2 minutes to play. Jumping ahead, second down and goal. Hand off to Donaldson, and he finds his way in. And Baylor may have been up 17-0 against Kansas State, but now they find themselves on the other side of it here in the first half, as Jackson has it on the catch and run. And Jackson to the 45-yard line. Can Baylor get something going? They will get the football to start the second half, so they can get some points on the board, make it a 2-score game, and then start the second half. Well, they could be in business, but it's going to be up to the first half finish, as Finn will run it out of bounds, this time not risking the fumble. First down and 10, minute to play. Throwing, and he's going to go outside. That's going to be an open man, and that's going to be Richardson inside the 10-yard line, and now it's going to be goal to go. Can this offense punch it in? It's going to be Finn rolling out left. He's got a man in the corner of the end zone. He's finally going to throw it, and that's going to be a touchdown for Ketron Jackson. It'll be 17-7 at half. Baylor gets the football here, and they're already at a 3rd and 1 situation. Handing it off to Richardson. He gets stopped, but Baylor on 4th and 1. They're going to go for it. They're going to try it, and they're going to go with the quarterback power right at the line, and they don't give it to him. Baylor felt like they had nothing to lose here, and they're trying to spoil West Virginia's hopes of a bowl game. They are 1 win away, and Baylor has everything to gain. West Virginia's the one playing with something on the line here, and now it's going to be a touchdown right through 2 defenders, and West Virginia's up 24-7. And Baylor has maybe got one more last breath of air in them. If they can get something on this drive, maybe they can make it a game, but they need to score a touchdown. They need to do it pretty soon, as Ketron Jackson trying to hurdle over a guy doesn't work. Now 3rd down and 4. It's going to be Finn in the pistol. Throwing, and he's going to get hit, sacked, and I don't think you can really go for it on 4th and that long. Finn had to get rid of the ball. Couldn't do it. 24-7, and it's going to be a big play. Now West Virginia not slowing down and not taking their foot off the gas pedal, as it's going to be a broken tackle here, and it's going to be another first down. Big chunk plays, big gains, and this has been not quite as good of a game for our defense. Probably one of our lesser games of the year, especially against the team in West Virginia that is, hovering around 500, as that's going to be another touchdown. This game is over, and now we're just going to see how much West Virginia piles it on, as they got the football back very quickly now early in the 4th quarter, 31-7, and that's going to be a catch on the RPO. And this RPO offense, as Baylor just keeps on biting on everything. Offense isn't able to do anything, and West Virginia with a 31-point lead. They're not even resting their starters. They are still going up ahead, making a big play, breaking a tackle, and West Virginia got it inside the 10, but finally brought down inside the 5, and Baylor just can't do much of anything. West Virginia, that's going to be Garrett Green throwing an interception, and that's the senior corner, Lorendo Johnson, taking it out of the end zone, past the 30. He's on the run. Can he be caught? 40, 30, 20, and he's finally pushed out of bounds, but Baylor got something to go their way. Can we just get a little momentum boosting touchdown to close this game? And that's just gonna be an awful throw. No, we can't. The ball just flies over everybody's head, and it's going to be an interception. West Virginia runs the clock out, and the Mountaineers are now bowl eligible. But man, Finn played awfully. The defense reverted far worse than what they were at the midway point and before. I mean, that was one of their worst games of the season. Garrett Green had a spectacular day, and everything that we might have shown from a positivity standpoint in that last game against Kansas State and some of the previous game, all the negatives flared up, and they flared up very quickly. The defense was biting on everything, and the front seven couldn't do much to generate heat, generate pressure, and Finn just can't hit the target. His confidence is seemingly shattered. He can't do much of anything right. We're advancing the week as everything's just kind of set in stone, and we have a lot of news here. Jimmy Vaccaro, a running back, will commit to our school, so he's going to join our backfield next season. We also got Derek Crumpler, another offensive line potential player for us, so that's going to be 2, make it 3, and a big one here, 4-star safety George Casillas will be coming along, so we've gotten 2 safeties. We get a kicker in Pierre Casey, so that's going to be some nice insurance on the special team side of things, and we get Juan Rossi, a cornerback, so that's going to be 5 commits for our Bears, so at least we have something positive to talk about there. And we got our final game of the season, and this one's going to be a good one. On paper, maybe nothing crazy, but Baylor will be on the road in a non-conference final game of the season against Utah State. It's a rainy day here, and we get the final look at many of our players. One of them is not going to be Richard Reese, who will be back for next season, potentially as the team starting running back, but Daquan Finn is a senior, and he's going to be throwing to senior receiver Monterey Baldwin. This team will be graduating a whole host of players. Another one here is going to be Dominic Richardson playing his final game here at Baylor. Every one of our top 6 receivers, seniors, our top running back, our quarterback, and some other players. The only key player we will have on the offensive side of the football that may be back for next season is going to be Michael Tragan. We're going to hope that he sticks around and doesn't want to transfer. We'll also have a couple of our offensive linemen sticking around. That's going to be a place where we'll be able to maybe have a strength for next year. Utah State threatening to go 3 and out here as quarterback Spencer Petras throws incomplete, and it's going to be Baylor football with a 3-0 lead as Finn will throw. That's going to be outside, and there goes Monterey Baldwin. Want to get his speed on display one more time before he leaves us. We're not going to have a player that fast going to be on the team next year, I don't think, as they're going to have Dominic Richardson. He's been a really nice player for us this season, had some really big games. That Iowa State game, had a 3-touchdown game already this season, and we're going to have Daquan Finn going up ahead in a slide. It's going to be 3rd down and long. Now Finn will bail left, and he's going to try to find a receiver. He's got one, and that's going to be broken up, though. Unfortunate there, but now Baylor looking for a 6-0 lead, and the 2 field goals are going to be good. Baylor's come close to scoring, but unfortunately had to settle for 2 field goals. Petras is going to try to power ahead here on 3rd down. Questionable call, but it's not going to work out, and Baylor takes the football back, throwing underneath. That's going to be on 3rd down, incomplete. Utah State with the football back in the first play of the drive, dropping to throw. It's going to be clean pocket throwing. That's going to be Micah Davis, and he makes everybody miss, and there goes Micah Davis on the run, and he's going to go all the way. Touchdown, Utah State. The safety came down, tried to make a hit. Instead, he took out Caden Jenkins and not the Utah State receiver. Now we're all of a sudden down by 1 in the second quarter as Finn will run up ahead for a nice gain, sliding down just before midfield. Now we jump ahead, 3rd down and 1. Going to the outside. That's going to be Richard Reese, and we're getting Reese the ball a little bit more as he's probably going to be the team's starting running back next year, so we're going to get to see what we have in him. Reese once again running up ahead for a 1st down, and it's going to be goal to go. Reese is a true home run hitter with elite speed, so we're going to see what he can do maybe with a full season of work. And there goes Daquan Finn into the end zone for the touchdown, and Baylor takes the lead pretty quickly. And now Utah State's offense is going to be onto the field. It's It's going to be a handoff, and that's going to be a nice run. Rasul Faison with the first down carry, and now the Utah State offense has a bad snap, and it goes right behind the quarterback, and Baylor picks it up. Bad snap in the rain, and the snap just goes over everybody, and now it's not going to be able to capitalize on it as the Baylor offense. It's going to be third down and long, setting up a screen. It hits a lineman. We're not going to be able to do anything with it, but it really did help out to try to slow down the momentum for this offense. It's going to be a catch there, under 2 minutes to play, and we haven't really seen their superstar wide receiver Jalen Royals get involved. It's been Micah Davis who has another catch here. He's up over 100 yards. He's got that touchdown as well, second down and 4. A lot of time to throw. End zone, caught for the touchdown. Flag on the play, though, and it's coming back. He stepped out of bounds before. He stepped out the back line, and now it's going to be third down and 4. Loss of downs here. Now throwing back of the end zone. This time he's got it, and this time he stayed inbounds. It's going to be a touchdown for Utah State. Now with just seconds to go, Baylor going to try to run things out. They hand it off to Reese, and he gets a block, and he gets another one on the outside, and there goes Richard Reese. The home run hitting speed gets us to the 35-yard line, just inside it, and now a one play to try to maybe set us up in field goal range, and it's going to be Finn bailing out. He's using up a lot of time, but if he could just get down and try to go and get this field goal, he fumbles the football though, and it's going to be Utah State picking it up, and we get nothing from that big run. So we are going to go into the half 14-13. Baylor down by 1. Utah State starting with the football. It's going to be third down and 1, and they hand it off. Faison gets the blocks on the edge and has a nice run, now set up at about the 32-yard line, handing it back off to Faison. He cuts it inside, and he meets the safety, but he gets all the way to the first down marker, and they are running it well. Petrus now to the air. He's throwing underneath. That's going to be caught, and there's the star receiver, Jalen Royals, who's probably going to be playing in the NFL one day. As Petrus, he's going to try to find someone. He's got nowhere to go with it. The defense held up well there at the goal line, and it's going to be fourth down. They kick the field goal. It is good, and Baylor down by 4. 4 minutes to go in the third quarter. Finn will throw it, and he's going to get hit incomplete, and a 3-and-out is not what you want to see here. The defense, though, helping us out, getting them a third down, 3-and-out opportunity, and Baylor's defense is able to wrap him up and swarm to the ball carrier. Baylor's offense getting the football back, man in motion. Finn is going to step up, and he's going to run it, and there goes Daquan Finn. He's got 20 yards and more out of bounds past midfield, second down and 10. It's going to be Finn. He's going to step up, throw it outside. That's going to be caught a little behind him, but it's enough for the first down, and he got it just in a spot where the receiver could catch it. He was that wide open, though, but Finn is going to step up once again, making a guy miss. He's trying to look and keep his eyes downfield. Just no one got open. He tried to extend the play for as long as he could, and the field goal, it's going to be no good, and that was to cut it to a 1-point game. Instead, we have to send the defense back out there. Once again, though, he got in a third down situation, and Petrus, maybe the ball slipped out of his hands due to the rain, and the rain has really caused some inaccurate passes. I mean, these are not two spectacular quarterbacks, so I mean, they're already out here throwing inaccurate passes as it is, so it's been really rough for passing games for both teams. But here we go. That's going to be a play to Monterey Baldwin into the red zone, 13-yard line, first down and 10, trying to take a lead here with a couple minutes to play, and Finn will step up. He's got a lane, and he's got a touchdown, and Baylor, with just a couple of minutes to play, has the lead here. And now we turn to the defense, who's played a couple of good drives in a row. Third down and 3, handed off, and that's going to be a lot of running room, and a lot of running room for Faison to get the first down. First and 10, 40-yard line, handing it off, and that's going to be another big lane. Just the defensive line not able to get off their blocks, linebackers not taking right angles, and the safeties are left to clean up a lot of tackles just like that. And the safeties are just, they can't do much. I mean, they got to have the front seven do their job, and the front seven's just not doing anything. And now it's going to be a touchdown for Utah State. Baylor now down by 4, and they need to do something here with just 3 minutes to play. Finn, he's going to load up and throw one deep. There's a flag on the play, though, and it's going to be intercepted. He tried a 50-50 ball for Baldwin, but a flag is on the play. And will this come back? No, it was an ineligible man downfield. The interception's going to stand, and Utah State has an opportunity to put this game away. Throw is behind the receiver a little bit, forces him out of bounds, and that's going to help Baylor out a lot here. Third down and 3. Petrus to throw, and he's going to get sacked. Free rusher up the edge, and Baylor's going to get the ball back. 4-point game, under 2 minutes to play now, and it's a really short punt. Once again, weather playing a factor here, and Baylor's going to have great field position. Minute 50 to play, and it's a rollout, throwing, caught. That's going to be Baldwin. Out of bounds he goes, saving some clock here, and Finn to throw it once more. He's going to roll right. He's this time going to take off and run it. Out of bounds, first down again. Now we're under a minute to play, second down and 5. Finn will float one outside. That's going to be Richardson, and touchdown for Baylor, and they got the lead here. Under a minute to play, and Baylor trying to get that 4th win of the season. Peterson, the offense, will come out into the field, and he'll throw over the middle. That's going to be a big play, and that's a great way to start the drive if you're going to have a field goal opportunity to send this game to overtime. Peterson to throw once more outside. That's going to be caught. Jalen Royals now at the 40-yard line. Just about 30 seconds to play. Petrus, and it's going to be caught once again. Micah Davis, and now they're really set up. Now under 30 to play. Third down, and they just go with a read option to set them up in the centered position for this field goal. They wanted to center the football, kick the field goal. It is good, and we're going to overtime. Utah State took about 30 seconds to go down the field, put themselves in field goal range, and now 27-27, and we got extra time here. Richardson, first play of overtime. He's got a big run. He's up over 100 yards in his final career game, and the handoff, that's going to be Reese, and Richard Reese has a touchdown, and 2 plays is all it took. This has been the best attack on the ground Baylor has had all year, and it's going to be a first down carry now, first down and 10. Utah State will go to the air, throwing a jump ball for Royals, swatted and into the hands of Royals, and that's going to be a touchdown. Utah State extends this game, and now we switch sides. They're going to have the ball on offense to start, and Petrus throwing underneath, caught, first down, and more goal to go situation. Utah State threatening to make it a touchdown game. Once again, throwing, they tested Jenkins, and it's going to be incomplete. Second down and goal, and Petrus will throw. He tests Jenkins again, and this time it's intercepted, and there goes Caden Jenkins. Can he be caught? Jenkins is gonna go all the way, and Jenkins puts a punctuation on this season and wins it in overtime with a 98-yard pick six, and Baylor has their 4th win of this season, and they close strong here. And Baylor, what a play from Caden Jenkins. He has been our superstar player, our best player, our leader, and he has been everything we have wanted him to be this year. And in the biggest situation all year, he has come up with big play after big play. 2 interceptions against Boise State, that game-winning pick against Iowa State. He's had other big plays throughout the year, and now he has a game-winning overtime pick 6 here to close the season. I can't say enough about how great Caden Jenkins is, and we did a great job holding Jalen Royals in check for the most part. Even his touchdown was a little fluky, but Baylor's rushing offense was spectacular this game, and we did a phenomenal job in certain aspects of this game. I mean, we really showed how good this team can be on the ground when we get the opportunity. Unfortunately, we're going to be saying goodbye to a lot of players, but I feel like we've done a good job getting some. Logan Ittersagen is going to be a 4-star corner coming to our school. We also got wide receiver Dylan Pratt, 3-star player, and 3-star safety Nate Hunter. Those are going to be our final commits for the regular season, and we can do a quick little recap of the year where we see teams like Oregon and Utah top the polls, and we got the usual suspects. Oklahoma, who we played a pretty tough game against, was a top 5 team. Alabama, Michigan, and we got a lot of good teams up here, some of which that we played. Texas, I mean, even though they had a really bad start to the season, they kind of went out and won in the second half of the season. West Virginia kind of put a beating on us. You know, SMU is in our conference as well. They moved there. So a lot of ranked teams in our conference. Trayshawn Holden wins Heisman Trophy at the University of Oregon, and Oregon's got a bunch of receivers. Here's the area of concern. Now that kind of the final results are in, our school took a big hit. Coach Prestige is down. That's going to be a concern. The championship contender is down. We are down to a 2.5-star school prestige-wise, so that's going to be a worry. Pro potential is bad. The coach stability is bad. The athletic facilities took a hit. Everything took a hit. And this school dropped a full star rating. So everything for this school is looking like it's going to be trajectory all the way down. And Ohio State goes out there, wins the national championship against Georgia. Here are the All-Americans, not just for the national first and second team, but we'll also take a look at the Big 12 All-Americans to see if we have any members of our school who are going to be recognized in that light. But, I mean, this school was always going to be one that was a lot more of a project than people would be willing to admit, because you look on the surface, 3.5-star school in the Big 12, that's not a rebuild. This team needs a lot of help. This team was coming off a really bad season, had a roster that projects for this year to be about a 4-win team, and that's what we were. Like, we basically met our expectations. We were a 3 to 4 win team, and we won 4 games, and it's not like we came out here and beat a bunch of great opponents. I mean, we had that win over Texas Tech that was probably our most impressive one of this season, but it just wasn't a good year. We got our butts kicked a lot of the time, and we could look at the Big 12 All-Americans. Obviously, we had no national All-Americans, but Michael Trigg, first team all-tight end, that's going to be pretty big to have him back potentially for next season. Cooper Lands also made it as an All-American player. I find it crazy that Caden Jenkins didn't even make All Big 12, considering that he did end up finishing top 10 in best defensive back in the nation, but didn't make All-American. I didn't expect All-National, but he should have been All Big 12. We can look at the season stats. A lot of interceptions. That's not a surprise. The interceptions were flying, and Daquan Finn just proved you can't always come from a school like Toledo and expect to succeed in the Big 12. He had a couple good years down there in the MAC, but he took a big jump up in conference, and it wasn't able to really show that he could handle it. Then we had guys like Ketron Jackson, had a really big first half of the year, and then as we kind of shifted away from the passing game and more to the run game, his numbers went down, and obviously that makes sense because we took the ball out of the hands of Finn a lot of the times that he ran more because we just couldn't rely on him. And that was something that I felt like the coaching staff needed to do a little bit better with. Was we lost faith in Finn very quickly. We dumbed down the offense, and it really felt like Finn's confidence just went down quite a bit. Tevin Williams had a really nice season too, and we're going to hope to have him back for next season as well. I mean, this is going to be a secondary that it was our strong point. Jenkins, sophomore, Tevin Williams, Jr., Devin Bobby, Jr., our 3 best players, I think, on defense are all not seniors, are all not graduating. So that's going to be a big deal for us. And as we look through what we have to look forward to next season, there's a couple of things that we could be excited about. But let's start with the off-season properly now, and we move to the coaching staff firing the offensive and defensive coordinators. I felt like the secondary, while they did play well, I mean, there were so many times. You could even just look at the West Virginia game as a perfect example of just this team wasn't disciplined a lot of the time. And on offense, while the offensive playbook is going to remain the same, the play calling will be a little bit different. And I think we did get a significant upgrade. Here are the 2 coordinators that we were able to pick up. The master motivator tree is unlocked, which is going to be great for us to have on the offensive side of the football. We also have some great boost going around. Our coordinators were nothing special, but I think one thing that is going to be important for us is going to be just trusting the players that we have. It really felt like since this team isn't really ours yet, that was going to be something that was going to be a disconnect where, you're just kind of trying to ride out who you have and then figure out who's going to be future pieces of this team, figure out who's going to kind of be lost in the shuffle. And with this team being very senior heavy, even if some of these players did play well, they're not going to be on the team next year. So speaking of not being on the team next year, we get into our first thing here, and that's going to be the players leaving. And we know we have a lot of players graduating. What about the transfers? Unfortunately, something we were scared of happening ended up coming to fruition here as we go to the players leaving tab. And we see Caden Jenkins, our best player, our superstar, the guy who walked off our final victory of the season. He wants to transfer, and I can't blame him. He's put up 2 good seasons for this team, And we are saying goodbye to a lot of other productive, talented, good players on this team. Monterey Baldwin, Keytron Jackson. We're losing our quarterback. We're losing our top edge rusher. We're losing our entire linebacking core. We're losing everybody. And with Caden Jenkins, obviously we're going to try to sit down, talk to him, see if he wants to stick around. But in regards to our star player, he's gone. Caden Jenkins, the building block of this team, is out of Baylor after a 3-win season as a freshman and a 4-win season as a sophomore. One of the best corners in the Big 12 is going to be leaving. And look at all the other players that we have. Tevin Williams was spectacular. He was one of the best nickel corners in the entire nation, and he wants to leave. Devin Bobby, who was an awesome player. I just said Bobby, Williams, and Jenkins were our 3 best defensive players last year. And look what we have, and we only have a couple of chances to persuade them. Thankfully, Devin Bobby will be sticking around, but looking at Tevin Williams, it's going to be a no. We're losing all 3 of our top corners now. So we're losing Lorando Johnson, Tevin Williams, and Caden Jenkins. We get to keep Richard Reese. Reese was a player who exploded in his final game, had his best game of the season, and looks to hopefully take the momentum into next year. I think that final game of the year might have been what saved us. And as it comes to our right tackle, he's gone too. And as if that wasn't a big enough issue, we have more problems to add on. We can take a look and see that we have just lost 4 pretty decent players. Kelsey Johnson didn't play much. That's just because, you know, Michael Trigg was a great player, but we could have gotten him more involved. But we can look through. We're losing our quarterback. We're losing our running back. Thankfully, we retained Richard Reese. We are losing our top 6 receivers. 5 to graduation, 1 to transfer. Kelsey Johnson is gone. The offensive line was a positive. We are losing 3 linemen. We're losing a starter. It's not that bad. Our defensive line is taking a little bit of a hit, but overall linebacker, we just lost our top 5 linebackers. We just lost our top 4 cornerbacks. That is brutal, and we are going to be saying goodbye to one of our safeties. So now we look at the transfer portal, and it's desperation mode for this team to try to recoup what we have lost. Thankfully for us, we do have a couple of nice players in the portal interested. There are some guys at the top. I mean, Jaden Ott hitting the portal. Io Manor hitting the portal. I would have loved to get a shot at a guy like Io Manor. Not going to happen, though. But we have 2 nice players. Spencer Fano and Avante Dickerson are going to be interested players for us, so we're obviously going to add them straight onto the board and kind of look at what we have here. And Spencer Fano is going to be a big-time player for us if we can get him, and Dickerson also becomes kind of a must-get type of player because of the situation we have at cornerback now. And we're looking at some of the players on our board, and we're saying we need to make room for the transfer portal players, and we're taking some guys off. We already have plenty of commits, but I made sure to keep some spots on the board available just in case transfer portal situations pop up, because one thing we do have to our advantage is we're at Texas, we're a Big 12 school. Like, we have at least that going for us. I mean, we're at least in a situation where we can get some good prospects from Texas that maybe fall through the cracks. Maybe someone transfers from a Texas A&M, a Texas Tech, somewhere. Something can maybe go our way. And we can see some of the players that we are looking at. Hippenhammer at linebacker. We need linebacker help. We need cornerback help. And with the situation that we have now in the secondary, it's going to push up what our plans were going to be. I had plans for the secondary and what I wanted the future plans to be. We'll get into that after kind of the dust settles in recruiting, but it's definitely changed up our projections when it comes to who's going to be the future starters of this team and what I wanted to do. I mean, now we're looking at a guy like Logan Ittersagen, who was a 4-star corner who we just got a few weeks back. He's probably going to have to play as a freshman. We're looking at one of these other safeties that we got. Maybe they're going to be playing as a freshman. We're looking at these linebackers and we're saying, man, we just lost our top 4 edge rushers. We lost our middle linebacker. We lost our right tackle. Spencer Fano now becomes like a must-get type of player. But going through the first week, we got Hippenhammer at linebacker. We were able to beat out Texas for him, which is pretty impressive. And then we got Ezekiel at guard, so that's going to help us out. We also added another player to our board. Georgia edge rusher Samuel Pemba is going to be on the board to potentially be someone we can get to replace our edge rush losses. Fano we're looking pretty good for. Dickerson we're looking pretty good for. Trey Bender we're looking pretty good for. And we're at the point in recruiting where we've gotten so many players we can just kind of send the house and get some good pitches on a lot of these guys. We got Cameron Coker as we advance through the second week. We're just kind of loading up on these players. Damian Henry, wide receiver. We've gotten a lot of receivers. I mean, when you lose 6 guys, including, all 5 starting caliber players that we had, you got to replace them. You got to get bodies out there. Some guys are going to be playing as a true freshman. Fano's still looking good. We need some of these players, and we get Boyette at center. And then we keep going on. Trey Bender, wide receiver. He looks like a good player. Spencer Fano is going to be coming to Baylor. Samuel Pemba is going to be coming to Baylor. Avante Dickerson is going to be coming to Baylor. And while we did lose out on some other guys, we got some big-time acquisitions. But we were not done with the transfer portal. Tavoris Jones was a player who really just wants to come here, and we had an extra spot on our board, so let's add him. Darius Agu from London, a defensive end. How about we go throw him on the board? Let's get him going. We had some transfer portal players really interested in us. Jones was not a player on our radar, but he just really wants to be here, so, I mean, who are we to turn down some quality talent potentially at running back? I mean, we haven't really done a whole lot in terms of instant starters at running back. We can take a look at what had transpired. Kelsey Johnson will be going to Texas, and when it comes to Caden Jenkins, he's going to be going to Texas. So you can see Tevin Williams down there. He also went to Texas A&M, but Caden Jenkins is going to Texas, and we're going to be seeing him next year, along with Kelsey Johnson, but that one doesn't hurt as much. Emilio Bada, tight end, will be coming here. We got a punter, Eric Esparza. Robbie Kane, another potential athlete lineman prospect. Tavoris Jones, I said he really wanted to come here. He did. Darren Agu, also going to be coming aboard. This is a lot of players coming in, and we did a phenomenal job, I feel like, when it comes to our recruiting. And as we kind of go down the board to take a look at who everyone ended up getting and where the top players went, you could see Jaden Ott at Oregon. That is so unfair. Trust me when I tell you, I'm not playing Oregon next season, because I'm not trying to deal with Jaden Ott going behind an Oregon offensive line, and that is just going to be absolutely just unfair. I can also tell you one of my favorite players in the nation in the transfer portal, Alec Io-Manor, a player that I just absolutely love, like even in real life. He ended up going to Jacksonville State, which is going to be really interesting. And we ended up finishing with a really good class, cracking the top 25. So we did a good job. We were able to use every single scholarship we had at our disposal, and here are just all the players that we were able to grab. There was one other transfer portal player who came in last second. That is going to be Caden Curry, another defensive end who's going to be coming in with Agu. So we got a pretty decent amount of reinforcements to help us. Everyone on our board, 3 stars. We got a number of 4 stars. The transfer portal helped us out when it came to getting a couple extra 4 stars like Fano and like Dickerson. So we're going to go through and just kind of show you everything that this team is going to have to offer for next season. And I think that we did a really good job when it came to that. So I'll give you kind of the quick peek at all the players that we got and their developments. Developments are obviously a super important thing here. So I just wanted to kind of highlight some of the players that we got. Trey Bender looking pretty good. We got some of these players, I mean, a lot of normals, impacts, a lot of these guys who may not be anything spectacular, but I mean, hey, we got a nice punter, we got a couple of other players. We're looking for those elite dev players, obviously, or at the very least, hoping that they're just not normal so that they have a chance to grow. Impact there for Casillas, and going through, you see Quintana, elite dev player athlete, so that's going to be interesting to see where we place him. Iddersagen is going to be impact. We have a couple other guys, Peterson, Bicken, Crumpler, Alejandro Easy is going to be an impact player, Vaccaro, impact, Dobbins, star, impact, and unfortunately, Josh Beckett is going to be normal. Now, that's not like a death sentence for him, but our hopes of him being star, or just impact at least, do kind of fall apart a little bit. Robbie Kane was a player that was supposed to potentially play center. I put him at defensive lineman. Cameron Coker has a lot of other positions that he could potentially play. I agreed and just kind of put his development path at running back. Trey Bender is a player who can play both ways, DB and wide receiver. We stick him at receiver, we need help. Dobbins, we're going to play at wide receiver. And Josh Beckett, like I said, he was a normal development, but he's our highest overall acquisition. He is in total a 76 overall, and I know maybe this looks a little concerning, but I think it's a little deceiving. He has incredible speed, you can see there. He has 96 throw power. His power might be capped out, but I mean, he caps out at a crazy arm. His accuracy is going to be the only thing that's a major worry, but if he can be a dynamic do-it-all type of player in the run game, and then also be at least just an okay accuracy quarterback, I'm fine with that. I'm fine with some of the attribute caps that he has because he just starts so physically gifted. Richard Reese here, he didn't take a major jump or anything. He's going to be one of our running backs. We have a bunch of options here. Tavoris Jones ended up being a nice player. He has a lot to him when it comes to his ceiling, and unfortunately with the transfer portal players coming in not taking big jumps up in overall and not getting certain development, that's going to be a little unfortunate, but he is going to be in a kind of rotation here. We have two running backs in Jones and Reese. We also have Dawson Pendergrass, and then we could look towards the future potentially at Jimmy Vaccaro, who looks to be maybe our best freshman running back that we were able to acquire, so maybe he could be something down the line. We take a look at Tyree Dobbins. He is a star player, and I think Tyree Dobbins has everything that you could want in terms of a prototypical number one receiver archetype. I think he can be a true dominant outside ball winning number one wide receiver, a guy you can get the ball to for 1,000 yards a season. Trey Bender is going to see playing time as a freshman. He is star development, and this is a guy who maybe has a future not only at wide receiver, but maybe we could see him playing defensive back at some point. He was a better DB than he was wide receiver. The only reason he's playing wide receiver is just because we need more help, but if the time comes where he needs to play DB, it will happen. Sergio Quintana was a elite development player, a player that I initially put at tight end, but I looked more into him. He's a linebacker, and I'm going to stick him at linebacker, and we're going to put him on the development plan. He's raw. He has a lot of things he needs to improve on, but he has the potential. He has the opportunity to become a great player one day. Isaiah Robertson was maybe our biggest training boost player and our biggest jump up that we got. He is going to be in the high 80s overall for us, so that's going to be huge. And Spencer Fano, 86 overall at offensive lineman. He is going to slot in as a massive upgrade at right tackle. Out goes an 80 overall player who's transferring away. In comes Spencer Fano, who's going to be an awesome player. We also got Caden Curry from Ohio State at defensive end. Unfortunately, Ohio State just never gave him the opportunity, but he's going to slot in as a day one starting player at defensive end, and he's going to be a nice one-year rental for us. We also got Darren Agu, who's going to be a two-year player for us. Not quite the, upside of a guy like some of the other players that we have gotten, but a two-year player from London. Darren Agu is going to be our other starting defensive end. So in the transfer portal, two ends, new starters. Here is Alexander Durant, who I thought was the best player that we were able to get from a perspective of a day one true starting freshman. He is our second highest freshman behind Josh Beckett, but you can see he's got a whole lot to him. He's got upside, he's got potential. He is a day one starter. He'll be next to Cooper Lance, who returns for another season. Here's Samuel Pemba, our new true number one edge rusher. He has a lot to him. Georgia just never gave him the opportunity. When you're at Georgia, you're going to be buried behind the depth of a lot of true five-star superstar players, but we will happily take the scraps that Georgia leaves behind. And Pemba's going to be a two-year player for us who has a lot of freaky athleticism to him. Avante Dickerson is going to be our new number one corner. I know the overall is going to sit here and say, well, he's pretty equivalent to Caden Jenkins, but it's going to be hard to replace the gap left behind by Caden Jenkins. And funnily enough, Avante Dickerson comes from the opponent of our last opponent of the season. It's going to be Utah State's number one corner. So, I mean, if you got to look at him in that last game, that's going to be our guy. At nickel corner, here's where something had to change. Tevin Williams was going to be our nickel corner. He was a great nickel corner last year. But now, with him transferring away, we probably have to pull things up a year ahead, and true freshman Logan Iddersagen is going to be the best fit in the nickel. He is a true nickel player, so he's going to be starting. We're also going to get to see safety George Casillas. He'll be seeing significant time. This is a team that uses 3 safeties, so we're going to see Casillas start alongside Devin Bobby, and we're also going to get to see the other freshman safety get to play out there too. George Casillas has some nice skill sets to him, and a player that I do like and potentially see some upside in as a starting safety in the future. And seeing Shane Clinton also get playing time as well, and we're going to rotate these 3 safeties in quite a bit. Clinton's going to maybe see some more time in the box potentially, as linebacker was a spot that took a hit and we weren't able to really get off-ball linebackers. Obviously we couldn't fill every position of need in one off season, but we're going to be seeing a lot of players get opportunities here, and everyone else is going to be catching a red shirt. But we have new quarterback, 3 running backs that are going to be rotating in with one another, and we're going to kind of see who comes in and really earns the job. Entirely new wide receiving core. We have Michael Trigg sticking back for another season, his final season. We have essentially the same offensive line, but just a whole lot better. And then Spencer Fano coming in at right tackle, which is going to be awesome. Completely new entire defensive line, aside from Cooper Lance, who's coming along. But we have Alexander Durant, Agu, Curry, Pemba. We have a whole new linebacking core. We have a whole new cornerback room. We have a whole new safety room aside from Devin Bobby. This team, a big reason why I wanted to choose them, roster turnover. We are able to take a big year, flip up this whole roster upside down, and we were able to do spectacular when it came to the recruiting side of things. We were able to go and fill up our scholarships, get 35 new players, and you can see Beckett's going to be the #1 quarterback this season. I know maybe he is not the best overall player, but he is the fit for this team. He is going to give us the most upside as well. Dobbins, I mean, it's a weak wide receiver room anyway, so why not start the guy who's got true #1 upside? Why not start some of these guys? We have a lot to figure out on this team, and let's let this team grow together, and let's trust these guys. Curry, Agu, transferring in. We're going to see Durant and Cooper Lance be the interior guys, so Durant's going to get a lot of snaps. Pemba's going to get to be the new #1 edge rusher. We're going to get to see a lot of other guys that we haven't gotten to see yet. Dickerson's going to be a 1-year rental. We're going to kind of fight to see who's going to be that #2 corner. Again, even though Iddersagen is not going to be the highest overall player, he provides the skill set that we want in a nickel corner, and that's why we went after him to begin with, because Tevin Williams was so valuable for us last year. We want to get another player like that. So this is going to be the starting team for next season, and you guys can let me know what you think of this team, who you're excited for, who you want to see. We have over a dozen new players seeing time this year, whether it be true freshmen or transfer portal players, and here is the schedule that we'll have for this season. We're going to be taking on Jacksonville State, Alec Io Manor's new team. We're going to be taking on BYU, 2 straight home games to start, and the difficult game we're going to be on the road at Tennessee, a big time opponent. We also got Colorado State on the road, and then we get into conference play, Iowa State, Kansas, SMU, West Virginia, TCU, Texas. That's going to be a tough stretch there, but we close the season against UTSA and Kansas State. When it comes to the recruiting side of things, when it comes to the preseason, the scouting, the week 0, the week 1 stuff, we'll do all of that in the next video where we kind of start the season and everything off proper. The plan is to do 4 episodes for the entire season, 4 games, 4 games, 4 games, and then postseason / off season, whatever our postseason is, bowl game, playoffs, whatever it is. We'll plan to do that 4 episodes per year. Let me know what you think of that, and let me know what you think of this off season and what your excitement levels are for the next year, and if you think we are going to be able to do better than we did last season. And all support is much appreciated. Like, comment, and subscribe, as all that stuff is super helpful as I continue to get this series out, a series that I enjoy very much so. And until the next time, I will see you guys all in the next one for Season 2 of the Baylor Dynasty.